Welcome to the first episode of my talk show. You might be wondering, who's this guy? Why would he have a talk show? Well, no one's stopping me. Welcome to the Jmaes talk show. On our first episode, we're talking to Cameron from Sancho Panza. How are you doing today?
Very good. How are you? How are you, James?
I'm okay. Have you seen the "How's the music career going" meme?
No.
It's got Matt LeBlanc, and he's got like his arms closed, and he's got like kind of a smile. He's like,
which one's Matt LeBlanc?
He's a Joey from Friends.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, it's kind of like playing into this meme of like when you're like a creative around family event times, and people are like, so how's that thing? Like they don't really know. They're sort of like indirect people in your life, but like they're family members, and they're sort of like confused or wondering what you do, and they're just like, how's that going? You know, do you feel like would you say you have anyone in your life like that? Would you say you're more like you've got quite a supportive crowd?
Yeah, like everyone's family at Christmas is always like, oh, how's it all going? Yeah, it's normally going all right. Yeah, everyone's pretty supportive.
So would you say that like you've come from a family that is in the arts, or would you say it's more or less?
No, not at all, really.
Something that's come from your own.
Dad's a plumber.
Right.
Yeah, and Mom's a teacher. So.
Doesn't teach music then?
Doesn't teach music, no. Teach primary school kids. Right. So I think I had a friend when I was like 12 that was like he was into guitars and stuff like that, and then it all went from there really. Like his dad was into like Pink Floyd. And
you went to uni for music? Or
no, I did history at uni.
History? So it's more the uni community, like people you've met at uni that have like formed your bands, or how would you say?
Yeah, well, but like Nottingham is like very much like a university city, isn't it? It's like they've got two big unis, and there's always like, there are a lot of people that go to Confetti. Like I know a lot of people that went to Confetti. But yeah, I never studied it at university. I did it at college. By the time I went to university, I sort of like had my band and did whatever,
How did that come about? Like, how did you form? Was Sancho Panza not your first band, or would you say that?
Oh, I've been in loads of bands.
You're a man of many bands.
Yeah. I was in a band before Sancho Panza called The Lizards, and we like used to. I'm from Birmingham originally, and we used to play in Birmingham.
There is a slight accent detected.
Yeah, it's coming hiding. But yeah, we used to play like around Birmingham and like all over. And then I moved. But they lived here as well. But then they finished before I did, and then I decided to stay in Nottingham because I don't know. Like I'm not going to slag Birmingham off at all, but it's a very different way of life living in Birmingham to living in Nottingham.
You prefer it here?
Yeah, because of like you can live so far out of Nottingham city centre and you can just walk in and it's like really easy. You know what I mean? And there is trams and stuff like that, but like for the past 5 years I've lived in a place where I can always just walk into town, and like Birmingham's not quite the same sort of thing.
No, it's it's like a big shopping centre, isn't it? And it's attached to the train station. That seems like the hub.
That's like the bit. That's like the bullring.
Yeah, when you come in, you're in this labyrinth for like 3 hours. Like
there's some really good bits in Birmingham, like Digbeth, like all around there, Moseley, Sturchley, Kingsheath, the Jewellery Quarter. All these little pockets of things happening around Birmingham, but they're all like so far away from each other. Where like Nottingham, it's all just in one place.
I would say pockets are what make sort of these small communities when it comes to the industry in this sort of area of the country. But
yeah, there's just loads of good venues and loads of good places, and like everyone's just hanging out, and it's very easy. Nottingham.
Love to Nottingham.
Big love. Are you from Nottingham?
I'm not from Nottingham.
Where are you from?
I'm from Derby.
Derby.
And
big love. What part of Derby?
I'm not going to disclose that. It hasn't got a huge city status. Like it's a very town city. It's very quaint. We've got a shopping centre, and we do have a lot of great independent shops and things like that that are popping up in here or there. But yeah,
the Hairy Dog.
The Hairy Dog does seem like that's the spot. And then you've got the Dubrek.
Yeah,
they have the Dubrek there, which is really great. And I would say that's my big in.
That's
like when I went to there, I started hearing about guys that were around here, you know, because like Marvin's Revenge, people like that, like Luke, he was playing there. You know, I
live with him now.
He's a great guy, isn't he?
Brilliant chap.
From Marvin's Revenge. He's been in a few bands as well, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. He was in a sub scene. He was in, he's been in a few, but yeah, Marvin's Revenge, probably my favourite Nottingham band.
They are they just have a real certain sound, like they just know exactly, like it's very consistent, isn't it?
They've been playing, they've like no,
and yeah,
they were like,
and just the tight knit unit that they are.
Three of them, that they make such a big sound. They're just three.
Ollie on the guitar, really, and then of course Luke is fantastic on the bass, but like it's just it all grooves together. It's
insane, you know.
Three guys,
really good,
that's all you need.
Yeah. Plus, it's a shame, really. We always got like 10 of us, and we're trying to fill in all the gaps.
I'd say you are brilliant in 2 different ways. Like I'd say all of you guys come together and make a brilliant sound, but they have a very separate sound. But like
it's different, but yeah.
I think that's what's great about the scene is that in Nottingham it feels a lot more broad. Would you say there's a lot more avenues for different types of music?
Probably. Yeah, there are lots of different types of music, and lots of them good in different ways. You know what I mean? Like but then if something's different, it doesn't mean they can't be your mate, you know, in the same way.
Yeah, like it seems like people are friends. Will from Good Goodbye.
Another very good
He was
friend,
in Sancho for a while.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So and I feel like they're more pop music, if anything. It's like they're very. I don't know, what would you call it? Like it's kind of hip hoppy, if anything, but like not really.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hip hop poppy.
Yeah,
It's very like.
It's Well, I can't think of what the actual name of it would be.
But then like you guys are more. What would you define the genre? It's more.
I don't know, like funky rock.
Funky rock.
We'll call it funky rock.
Funky rock.
Yeah. Brit funk.
Brit funk.
Indie funk. You call it whatever you want. Yeah.
What does that mean? Like
what does any
Brit?
mean?
You know what I mean? Like I mean, yeah. When you say like stuff like this, you're like. It's just made up like little genre things, isn't it? It's like. It's to help manage a product, and that's why we call it a certain thing, and that's why I'm dressed like this. You know, it's very like Oxford University guy, but he's got the sliders on. You know what I mean? Like,
he's got like
it's the university,
he's down to earth as well.
University challenge contestant. He plays bass guitar.
The tie's nice.
The tie, isn't it? I got this from Beeston. Yeah. I think from a charity shop around here, and I thought this is the one because it would clash nice with the yellow. Do you think fashion is a big part of music? People fashion themselves in a certain way.
Definitely to some degree. Yeah, I think like it sort of, in some senses, it has no relevance at all.
No.
But in other senses, it certainly does, because in the world that we live in, where everyone, you know, it's like you see pictures on your phone, and like you see like these guys look cool, you know, then that's that, you know.
You see the band that are dressed like Fleetwood Mac, and you're like, you know what? I think I might check them out.
Well,
like that'll be it's a background thought. Like it's not the forefront of it. You actually listen to music. That's why you're listening to them. But like to begin with, you get interested because you're like, hey, these guys look.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's like it's also like, you know, Fontaine's DC.
Yeah.
And that like this new album they've come away, and they look like Limp Bizkit now.
I love it though. I know that their management team had some word in that and said,
it's very well like designed, isn't it? This sort of
very
thing,
well,
which is like.
I think they've got some money behind them though.
I think they definitely have some money behind them.
Yeah.
Some of the music's pretty good.
It's really brilliant music. Nothing against Fontaine. I would say it's one of my favourite popular bands at the minute.
Yeah, I think the first album's really good.
Oh yeah, like even back then though, because they've been going for a while, but only just recently because of really going at it. I imagine. Like I don't know them too well, but like
I don't know. It's just like, but we were talking about like, fashion and image and all that, weren't we? And like in that sort of sense, like they've come
because they started out very like, you know, the
standard indie.
They look
guys,
Joy Division. Wearing a suit and tie not suit and tie,
but now they're all
sort of the
in
casual
dresses and green hair. You know, but that's like.
That's what kids think is sick.
It's like they've definitely gone for something, haven't they? They've sat down. There's been a meeting. And I
don't know. You like to think that, like, also them as people, they're like, this is how we want to dress. Like,
well, we're
making like, I think money is an insane thing.
Yeah.
They insert certain imagery to try and make people interested, because they can't really fund this overall brand, you know.
It's all imagery, isn't it? You know, no matter what you are going to present something to people. If you're like, you know, doing a photo shoot or doing like your artwork, it's all like it's got to represent something, hasn't it? And I suppose, you know, you can try and be like, you know, who you really are, or you could try and create something that's like the theatrical side of it, you know, in the same way, which is both.
Theatric's a huge part of it, I think.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, you've made posters in the past for your shows, and would you say a good chunk of the audience are people that know you and seen the poster, and then they've gone, like, a lot of my friends have, like, in the past gone, like, they've seen like a Sancho Panza post online, and they've gone like, oh, they're playing here or this festival, and they've seen you before from a friend of a friend, and that's like how word gets around. But what's your personal take from, how would you say,
the poster side of it,
or just like promotional? Like, do you think people?
I've never really been a big fan of like having like photos, like especially with my band, like getting those 5 guys, like, you know, or 4 guys to like. I know like so many talented like artists, like my friend Dan, who's done so much, like Super Freak is his name, and then Joanna, who does a lot of our posts as well.
Yeah, I know them.
They're all so good at doing that, and like I much prefer that anyway. So like rather than a big picture of my head.
I think that works with like the sort of independent scene. A lot of posters in the past, they don't rely on that, do they? Like, you know, you see a lot of people that are successful now, but you know, like old Sonic Youth gigs, like it would just be like their name scrawled on a piece of paper, and it's well, they're going to be there. It's $6 to get in, and that's how you guys see it. You know?
Yeah, I'd much rather it be like that. To be honest,
if there was a biopic of your life, you know, this is a weird trope. You ever watch like the biopic of like any famous artist, and it's like the dad is like, he's like, I'm securing a living doing art, Dad, and he's like, oh no, you know, he can't stand it. You know, I find that really weird, isn't it? Like, it's almost like Hollywood has created this theme of just like Elton John's dad didn't fuck with, you know, Freddie Mercury's dad, don't do the music, you know, or like, I guess it's more like they see them as being sold in this world where it's like very dangerous, you know, like being on that mainstream level, they start offering you some weird substances and like get you doing some crazy stuff, and I guess that's a world we don't understand, you know what I mean?
Probably not, no. Probably not, no.
I just find that funny. Like, it's always like the narrative of someone in your life going, you shouldn't, like, do you think you've ever had that? Like, someone go like,
probably not,
don't do art.
Probably not, no. Well, there's nothing else to do, is there really? Like, at the end of the day, it's like
I think that's,
you know, if people just go home and watch TV, go to work and watch TV, a lot of people, like, it's like,
almost like we have a side hustle.
Ways, don't they? Well, it's not.
I think that's how I see it.
A piece of cheese that you're chasing, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, and then you get there for a little bit, and then there's another piece of cheese, and it's constantly, you know, it's like that, isn't it?
It's what we do with our time.
Well, yeah, like everyone's got to do something. You're either gorming out,
fishing,
or watching Hollyoaks, or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What is that show?
I don't know.
I'm not going to talk about it. Would you have kids?
Do you know, I watched a program the other night. It was about a month or 2 ago, and it was like Morgan Freeman. And before this program, I'd never really ever thought about having kids. But there was like Morgan Freeman narrating the history of the world, and it was like, you know, the universe 14 billion years old, the Earth, you know, the sun 10 billion years old, the Earth 4 billion years old, and then it was like the creation of the Earth, and the first thing to be alive on the Earth was moss, and like everything that is alive came from this moss.
We're just moss guys.
And then I had this like existential crisis that like I would be ruining the party if I didn't have children. I've had the gift of, because I don't know.
You want to make some moss kids?
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah. Because I don't know. You think of the world and it's like, you know, it's so confusing and fucked up, and it's not going to get any easier for anyone that comes into it. But then you're also like, I have come from, you know, a moss dinosaur, you know.
Moss. I thought you were going to say Moss Dynasty.
Right, there was a Moss Dynasty there.
We are the Moss Dynasty. I think that's
all like gone through, and then here we are, me and you, sitting on this chair.
Having a chat about
And should we have children to
music adjacent,
have further conversations?
Yeah.
Make more tunes.
People who are creative influence their children to be creative, because that's kind of past the industrial side of humans. Like we create in a very vast and commercial way, but art is almost like our grounding point. Like it's like our mark to outlive ourselves, I guess. You know, like we like to make stuff, so it's like, well, when I was here, this is what I did, and it's a bit of me, a bit of my soul, because it's like a very soulful thing to make music. So you.
Well, I think in a world where like you have there's so much you don't have a say on. Like the world just exists around you, and like there's all these.
A retaliation.
Yeah, it's well, you could say it like that. But it's the one thing that you can control.
Yeah.
Like you can make, like if you want to make a pot in a certain way, you can make the pot.
You can make pottery.
If you want to write a song in a certain way, that's down to you, you know. And like that's sort of the best feeling about it. I think probably like the sort of like the controlling of the chaos, and you sort of like you do have control for just this one thing, and that's probably the best way I could explain it. Yeah.
Do you feel the media guides you more than your own free will?
Very deep question.
That's our final question.
Okay. Does the media guide you over your free will?
I think I'm more asking, like, you know how cavemen didn't have anything telling them what to do, or Neanderthals is probably a better way of calling it. Our instincts have been replaced by gridding us into boxes and then saying, like, this is how our thought processes are now going to work, instead of going, oh, I need to eat. Like, we still have that. That's just, like, natural. But, like, our brains have gotten too big that we need to operate and control people instead.
Well, it's not, yeah.
This is a fucking rabbit hole, I know.
No, this is it's a good question, but it's a lot to talk about.
I think it influences art, and I think that's what I'm trying to get back at, is like, because of that control, art is affected by it.
Do we see past the adverts we are shown every day to create? Do the adverts have an effect?
But I think we've been
art?
conditioned over time, innit? Like, yeah, like we've got, like, I love chocolate.
Yeah.
And I'll see a chocolate advert and I'll go, I love that product. Why do I? Because someone's fed it me, and I will love it.
Well, yeah.
But like, they don't even have to show cigarette adverts, but like, your friends are cigarette adverts because they were smoking, and then they're giving you cigarettes, and now you're smoking. And that's the way it goes. You know, it's influence.
Well, free will, yeah. Does it exist?
Yeah.
To some degree, probably, but in other ways, probably not. You know, what's cool, what's not. You know, it's all been shown to us, hasn't it?
I think, yeah, to your own degree. With your own sane mind, you go, this is what I think is cool.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what sets us apart from...
We don't exist in like a void, do we? Like everyone...
We're not completely controlled, but it is a controlled environment.
Yeah, like everything comes from something, doesn't it? You know, like,
and art is that release that's like... You know, when people say, I'll give you my prayers, you know, it's just like a... I don't know.
It gives people, you know, it's entertainment at the core of it.
It's entertainment,
you know,
but it can also be hopeful.
With an indie band, you go and watch an indie band, and I'm sure you can watch them as well, like as someone that plays music, and you sort of like can dissect it by looking at it.
Yeah.
But then you go.
I love that though.
Yeah, no, I love that, but then you go and see like an orchestra.
Yeah.
And then that's like completely beyond.
I feel a bit like out of place when I go to places like.
Well,
do you ever do that?
Place. Well, no.
But like, I'm really appreciative of that. I'm taking this like these really talented, disciplined people. It goes for indie as well. Like people, like I think because of genre, like you can sometimes be discriminated and be like, oh, this isn't. It's lesser music.
Well, it is. Well, to a great, there's like not slagging it off, but it's like there's like a level.
Well, people call it slacker and stuff like that.
Well, there's like a level of skill that me and you have. I don't know. You might be classically trained.
No, I'm not.
Exactly, but like,
I'm probably
worse than you. We can watch like some chances
we can go
from down the road, like
chances.
You know, but like like me and you, you know, like
we are chances.
We are just chances, and but then you go and see like someone play like
kids
Tchaikovsky.
That have been like whiplashed. You ever seen that film?
I have seen Whiplash.
I love that film.
But that's like another level.
That's something else. Like
to me, that's like magic, isn't it? You know, because I have such a small understanding of it that it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a whole other world. But why do you do it?
Because I have a great time.
You have a great time.
And it's playing the guitar is free, and it takes your place.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Thanks for having you.
Check me out, James.
Thanks. Okay. Cameron's now going to play us a song. Is it an old song, Cameron?
It's an old song. It's called Rodeo 59.
Oh, isn't that just a treat?
All through the night, you watched as the faces moved on, and dazed by the underground, I looked without a sound to notice the last bus was gone. Acting surprised, think what the neighbors would say. Lost in the afterglow, hoping for luck to show up at this cheap masquerade. Then I realized as the moment capsized, shouting it out clear and plain, we can't go back the way that we came. Oh babe, I've been losing all winter, so let's slip away from the breeze. Head on down south with no word to doubt, and only your hands left to please. 'Cause I remember Sunday morning, breathing in the dirt, waiting for the punchline, searching for the words, with those parted lips and fingertips catching us up from behind. I laid my cards out for you to find. You can blaze down that trail if you want it. Now there isn't a diamond inside. With cigar in hand, we'll drive across the land, out to the boats in the night. And babe, if they ever do find us, then I'll take my fair share of the blame. But we can't go back the way that we came.